Hey guys, welcome back. I'm doing a bit more of a review of the Stock Navigators Expert Traders course by Tom Long. So I started this the other day, and you guys that saw this will have seen this first video, part 1. So this is posted a couple of days ago. I did a brief overview here, so I'll leave links to these other parts of the videos in case you're coming in mid-series here. So in part 1 I looked at my experience so far with the course in the first week. And then this video that I'm doing today is going to be looking at the content of the course for weeks 2 and 3. So really starting to get more into the meat of the course. The reason I'm doing this is an expensive course. It's $5,400 at the time that I'm making this video, which is a lot for a new trader's course. And I guess I want to make sure that people know what they're getting when they buy this course. I'm also curious because I think this is the most expensive course stock trading related that I've ever tried. So it's definitely a high ticket item. You could argue that $5,000 isn't that much, and you'll probably pay that off pretty quickly if you have a $100,000 account or something. Probably insignificant, but most people that are starting trading struggle, and the typical account size is probably only somewhere between $10,000 and $30,000. So let's get into it a little bit. Let's see. So a very quick overview if you haven't seen part 1 yet. This is Tom Long and his son Tim. They run this course at Stock Navigators. It's a fairly well established company. It's started off just them, but it looks like they have about 20 staff members now as well. It looks like to me so far that this is only useful, this course, I think it's called the Expert Traders course, is only useful for brand new traders. So yeah, it's called Expert Trader. This is the one that's $5,000. What's annoying to me is they don't actually have prices on their website, so you're forced to schedule a call, 45-minute free call with one of their team members who basically sells you on this program. So the course is all about technical analysis. It's really fairly basic technical analysis. Here's an overview. So week 1 is setting up and giving you a foundation. 2 is starting with the trading platform and helping set up your charts. 3 is initial technical analysis, and that's where I'm at just now. So I don't want to go into the rest of it because that'll be for the next video. So it's a video course. Here's some of what I talked about in the week 1 stuff. So really just motivation, really basic stuff. Really got nothing out of that at all. It was several hours of work. And so I started week 2. I went through this quite quickly, and wow, if week 1 was kind of dull for me, week 2 was pretty boring. So really it's a few hours of video lessons again. And in week 2 I learned how to use Thinkorswim's Active Trader. So I already knew how to use it. I've been using it for a while now. And basically, it was an hour-long lesson on how to set up and use the Thinkorswim Active Trader. Might be very useful for new traders, but honestly, if you've used Thinkorswim before, you've probably used the Active Trader. So really, the value so far in this course has been really kind of focusing on what people need to do. So the idea that you don't know what you don't know, right? So they're just cutting out all the noise and giving you the tools. So that's a good thing. But to pay $5,000 for a course and find out that a lot of it is this stuff, like how to work Thinkorswim, when there's so many tutorials online just about how to use Thinkorswim, everybody's different setups and everything, kind of leaving a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth so far. And then there's this random module all about trading from Canada. So not sure why just Canada. There's really nothing else about any other countries. Just Canada only, and it's a 40-minute session aimed at just these traders that are in Canada that want to actually trade the US stock market. So very useful, I'm sure, if you're living in Canada doing this, but it wasn't valuable to me at all. Then there was a whole section on drawing in Thinkorswim. So this is actually, it wasn't bad. I have to admit I wasn't using Thinkorswim drawing tools optimally, so I learned a little bit about that. They talk about how to use paper trading, how to add some simple indicators like moving averages and things, from that list that you get. You can draw down in Thinkorswim. And then also stuff like Fibonacci extension stuff, So like I said, I learned a little bit from this. I'm not the most efficient user of Thinkorswim, so I learned a little bit about what I could do better in just in simple things like drawing lines at key levels and things. So again though, week 2 was a big disappointment for me so far. It really didn't provide that much value, to be honest, so not super happy with week 2. Week 3 though got a lot better, so you can argue the first couple of weeks of the course, it's a 6-week course by the way, the first couple of weeks could just be like, okay, get into it, try, set up brokerage accounts and things like that. But by week 3 of a course like this, you want to really start finding something like proprietary or unusual or, deep in some way. And week 3 actually surprised me. It does start some sort of really kind of meat to the course. Again, though, my major complaint here is it's still kind of basic stuff, and you'll see what I mean in a few minutes. But we'll scroll down here. I put some notes on this article. I'll leave a link in the description where you can go and check out this article for all the details. So it starts off with a hour-long video lesson on Dow Theory, and if you're a trader, you'll be using Dow Theory, and maybe you don't even call it that or know that it is Dow Theory. Give it a Google, you'll see this goes in from the very start of Dow Theory and basically starts going through it pretty carefully. It's interesting, but honestly, again, it's for beginners. If you have been trading for more than a few months with technical analysis, you'll pretty much know everything that is to be said in this. So they do a whole lesson on support and resistance. As you'd expect, right, from a course that is about technical analysis, you're going to have to do some support and resistance stuff. Now, this is where things do get interesting, is there is a almost proprietary way that Tim uses to draw support. So we're all familiar, if you've been trading for a while, how to draw lines that join low points and things at similar prices, like an uptrend or downtrend, or a horizontal line of support or resistance. But what I was quite impressed with Tim here is he did cover one that I haven't seen before, that was just a little trick that, it's a kind of a golden nugget in there, which was pretty unusual and fairly useful. So that was the point where I started to really feel like I was starting to get a little bit of value from this course. Bearing in mind I'm not new to trading, I've been trading on and off for almost 10 years now. So I'm kind of coming at this from a more experienced trader, and maybe this is not the best course for experienced traders, from what I can see. But I did learn something from this, and it made me think a little bit more about how I'm drawing my trend lines and support and resistance in general for exits and entries on your trading. So pretty interesting stuff. I started to enjoy the course more at this point. So they talk about some moving average stuff. That's pretty boring for me. Again, might be exciting to newcomers. The live demo part was a little disappointing. It was just looking back in time at charts and putting lines on them. I thought we were going to see a live demo trade here, but nope, just going back to looking at charts. Anyway, the next video lesson was pattern recognition. So basically looking at all the different technical patterns, basic price patterns, continuation patterns. It was about 100 minutes of video. The problem for me is I know all of these patterns. They're very well known in the trading field, things like double tops, double bottoms, flags, all these types of things. So there's 100 minutes of that, but that's something that you can Google very easily. And sure, it's nice to have it in a course, and it's kind of needed, but it didn't really offer me a lot of bang for my buck, really. So the multiple time frame analysis video was all about how to set up and watch multiple time frames. So pretty useful. Maybe if you're new to trading, you don't realize you should set up like the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 10 minute, and the daily or something like that. So pretty useful. Shows you how to do it in Thinkorswim, in particular, how to set up your dashboard, all that kind of stuff, and the value of looking at different time frames. So interesting. Nothing super groundbreaking or anything, but however, the last part of the week 3 was actually really interesting. So this is where they introduced the stock navigators way of looking at buy and sell zones with a live demo video as well. So there's a lot of information in this section, and honestly, this was really good. So the you know, I've looked at all sorts of ways of drawing resistance and support and stuff, and this one is pretty unique, and it seems to work really well. So I've gone through and back tested what they're teaching here, and a lot of it actually works really well. And this isn't something that I've ever found online. You know, it's not something anybody else is really talking about. They have a very unique way here of how to draw in your buy zones where you want to potentially buy and your sell zones where you might potentially sell. And it seems pretty interesting, pretty solid stuff. So this really perked me up at this point. Like, okay, I can get something from this course. I really can. So definitely going to look into the way that, you know, they teach this and look at some of my own charts and see how I can implement it, because it's pretty cool. It's pretty good. So there's definitely some value here for new traders. This is interesting, but also for people that have been around the block a few times too. This stuff is fairly interesting. So the thing they do teach well here is they teach you to not just learn this stuff, but go out and put it on your charts. Practice. Do like dozens of these things, dozens and dozens. Find different charts. See if where you're drawing in these buy zones, whether it would have worked, you know, into the future from where you drew it. Like find one in the past, put it in, and then look where the lines are going, and see like, okay, you know, if I'd used this as my buy zone because these are the rules, it would have worked as time went on. Like, you know, test them. And then they say to, you know, post them in their Facebook group. They have a Facebook group, and they'll give you feedback. Other people will give you feedback saying, oh yeah, you could have drawn it a little bit differently, or maybe that candle wasn't quite where you thought it was. Why don't you try this instead? So really, really good section there that I really enjoyed. And then for the end of week 3 was just this module called Confidence in Action. So really, again, it was back to kind of a motivational mindset module, talking about like confidence and greed and not getting greedy and all this stuff. So not really super useful there. I'd really say now that I'm in week 3, this was the section that has made it really valuable to me so far. Nothing before that has really changed how I think. Now, again, beginner traders will get a lot of good stuff out of the first week or two. But for me, really, the buy and sell zones was the first time I'm sitting there going, okay, these guys actually know something that's a little different and actually pretty smart. So, so far, I'm still saying that, you know, for an advanced or intermediate trader, that maybe this isn't the best course, though. I'm not sure if you get $5,000 worth out of this course. So definitely worth thinking about. I'm going to keep doing videos on this. I'm going to go through week 4 and 5 and 6 and write them up in here, and do videos on them too. So hopefully you guys that are following this series will follow those videos as well and check them out. Alright guys, talk to you soon.